Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sound Waves, powered by Sound Cove Labs. I'm Rob Petrosh, the founder of Sound Cove Labs here in Greenwich, Connecticut. It's great to have you today. On Sound Waves, as you know, we dive into how companies, currently we're talking about home service companies, are leveraging strategy, growth, and tech to transform their industries, and we like to dive into that deeper with amazing founders. Today, I'm going to be joined by Carter Green at Stratus Building Solutions. They're a leader in commercial cleaning. And since their founding, they've really emphasized eco-friendly cleaning, tailored service models, and a really strong franchise system. And we want to dig into this with Carter today. So welcome, Carter. How are you?
Hey, Robert. I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Oh, you're welcome. It's great to have you. We always like to kick off by hearing where you are in the world. So why don't you tell us where you are?
Absolutely. So our headquarters of our ownership group is based here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Go Thunder. We also own the Tulsa, Oklahoma territory, the Northwest Arkansas territory. Our office is located in Bentonville, Arkansas. And then we actually just launched our fourth location back in March in Birmingham, Alabama. So we're all across the southeastern part of the United States.
Awesome. That's great. And so share a little bit about how you decided to get into this business and align with Stratus Business Solutions.
That's a great question, Robert. So before we opened our first Stratus location here in Oklahoma City, a little over 8 years ago, I spent about a decade in the commercial GC world, so general construction. The first half of that was spent on the NewCon side of things, so kind of worked in all facets of that business, you know, from the superintendent side, construction manager within the office, into project manager status, senior project manager. I even ran their fleet and assets, you know. There was 500 employees, 168 trucks, you know, over 400 pieces of large asset equipment. So I worked in a lot of, or all of the facets of that business. The second half of that was spent on the service side. So a little bit more of asset management from the real estate portfolio, managing commercial properties, all the different vendors and subcontractors that it took to keep those buildings in peak form. And in both of those, I got an opportunity to work with commercial cleaning and janitorial companies, amongst many other trades. And I just noticed a huge void in the industry for quality companies that carried strong professionalism, customer service, quality of service, and just that really delivered on what they promised. So kind of after going through that decade with, you know, half of it on the NewCon, half of it on the service side, I actually moved very briefly for about a year and a half into a general manager position at a large custom pool construction company, and they also had a landscape design and installation side of the business that I ran. I got some great experience. I worked for an incredible man, very tough leader that taught me a lot of life lessons, but he was really kind of my stepping stone from that previous decade into my decision and my desire to open a commercial cleaning and facility services company of my own. My mother at the time was doing franchise consulting for a large company called Entrepreneur Source, and she had actually gone for a client at the time to do a discovery day with Stratus Building Solutions corporate office in Hollywood, California. When she got back from that, she said, hey, fell in love with the business model, an incredible company on the rise right now. They're newer in their franchise status, but they've got a lot of amazing things going on for them. And you know, the client that I was showing has decided to open up a different business. And so, yeah, we went through a discovery day. We fell in love with the business model, the multiple revenue streams. Again, my kind of background in my knowledge that I felt like the industry was clearly lacking somebody that was going to come in and deliver the goods. And the rest is history, Robert. Best decision we ever made, and we're having so much fun with it.
Yeah, and it seems you guys are really growing, as you talked about at the top of the show. When you say commercial cleaning, it's a broad term. Maybe you could narrow that down for us a little bit about exactly what you cover. as a company?
Absolutely. So our bread and butter is all things commercial cleaning and janitorial. We go into businesses of all sizes in all industries on a daily, weekly, 7 days. Doesn't really matter how many days a week you need cleaning. We come in and that's what we provide. It can be as extensive as cleaning every single thing in a commercial facility every single night, or modified scopes of services. But the back end really underlying tone is that we're going to make sure and keep your business, your facility, your facilities in peak performance, in pristine condition at all times. So, handling all the floor care, all the trash removal, cleaning and disinfecting horizontal surfaces, restrooms, break room, entry door glass, perimeter windows, interior partition glass, high dusting, low dusting, all of the normal things. But because of my background in the construction world, we are also a one-stop shop building solutions firm, meaning once we've proven our high-level workmanship and earned the trust of our clients from the cleaning side, they can pick up the phone and call us for absolutely everything that pertains to building maintenance from the roof to the parking lot, which makes it an incredible blessing for them because they take what tends to be, 10, 15, 20 different vendors just to keep up with your commercial building, and they dwindle it down to 1, 2, maybe 3 vendors in having Stratus take over so much for their facilities.
How many of your clients are doing both cleaning and the service side?
You bet. So our headquarters location serves somewhere between 350 and 400 active clients that have us cleaning their building at least one time per week. And I would say we have about 100 businesses in that portfolio that take advantage of our extended service offerings.
Okay, great. Overall commercial cleaning, we talked to a lot of different founders. It seems to be a good amount of competition in the space overall. What major shifts are you seeing in the commercial cleaning janitorial industry at this time overall?
Yeah, I think you hit a great point. I mean, one thing that we all know as owners in the commercial cleaning world is that we have a lot of competition. When we look at our competitors, we always kind of look at the top 10 or so. And those are people that have proven brand names or proven names that are on the rise, that are kind of coming in and nipping at our heels on a semi-regular basis and from a more recent standpoint. I think every single major metropolis has probably the top 5 to 10 that you would hear all across the United States. But then each individual territory and sometimes more specific to the region or part of the U.S., those second 5 to 10 are going to be maybe a little differing from the northeastern part of the U.S. to the southwestern and vice versa. One of the biggest trends from a competition standpoint is that we have about 1 to 2 new big time players that are on the rise enter our markets about every 12 to 24 months. And so we're aware of them. I don't think any of us are scared of one another. What we are out here to do is to gather as much of the market share as we can based on the business that we have, the teams that we have, the unit franchisees that we have, the training and development that we have, and to go and give it our best shot, right? I think the sad thing is that the industry average for client retention across the board in the United States and really North America is about 18 to 20 months. And so for us, our entire mission is to set out to completely prove that rate wrong, that duration wrong. We like long-term partnerships. And so I think for all of us here, we're not trying to clean for 18 or 20 months and see what sticks. We're trying to take good, strong partnerships and turn them into lasting long-term partnerships. Because everybody loves reliability and consistency. And so there's really no reason why you should have this, tainted outlook that you can only keep somebody happy for 18 to 20 months. That, to me, that's just not a thing.
Is there a theme in the 18 or 20 month time frame where you hear the frustration from a client? And it doesn't necessarily have to be you. It could be a little more industry wide. But what's that tipping point that says, might be time for a change?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot of companies out there that overpromise and underdeliver. right? When you put together a scope of work for a commercial cleaning, company for a business that you're trying to clean for their facility, right? It's really important that you give them what you're actually going to be able to uphold. I think one thing about the commercial cleaning industry that's different from the residential cleaning industry is people sometimes think, oh, commercial's where it's at. You make more money in commercial. And in some cases, there's truth behind that. But what we've always been surprised in is people are way more willing to spend more money for you to come clean their house than they ever will be for you to come clean their commercial business, which has always shocked me. And nowadays, having some success in the market, we can have a good laugh over it. But yeah, you create a scope and you say you're going to do all these things every time you're there, and yet somehow when you're going up against 2 or 3 competitors, you're the lowest price in the room, and nobody really ever stops to wonder why. And I think it takes people, on average, anywhere from 12 to 20 months to kind of wake up and smell the roses of, hey, the company said they were going to do X, Y, and Z. They hardly ever do. They're inconsistent. The team changes all the time. They forget to set our alarms, or they forget to lock our building. There's so many different things that can come into it. And I think on average, it takes somebody 12 to 20 months to kind of wake up and realize that they're not getting what their current provider promised them and signed them up for.
That's great insight. And your note about the home cleaning over office cleaning is definitely surprising to me as well. I would think the exact same way. So thanks for that. Switching gears a little bit to what our audience loves to talk about, and that is technology. I'd love to know how technology plays a role in your business every day, from scheduling, tracking, reporting. How do you as a company use it to your advantage to run the business?
Absolutely. I mean, Robert, that's a great question. I think all of us doing business, whether you're an owner or you're an employee in a company that's on the move and is knocking things down left and right, you always have to be respectful of and mindful of technology in the workplace. We live in the 21st century, but now more than ever, we live in a society that is absolutely fueled and driven by tech. AI is increasing and enhancing at a rapid rate. So being able to understand what things AI offers you in your operation to be able to leverage that the right way is critical. If you're not getting on the advances in technology, you will be left behind. We know that. It's proven. You can look around and look at different companies that have decided to delay the process, and they're that far behind, and every month that goes by, they're that much further behind. Even systems as far as your CRMs, your BRMs, right? We're very blessed to have a BRM in-house that we utilize on a daily basis that really helps keep up with, all of our things such as tracking, scheduling, inspections, audits, numbers, metrics, all of that good stuff. And then having a good CRM that's integrated with that is critical. Right? When you look at growth in an organization, yes, you need a strong foundation. You need a great operations department to uphold everything that you go out and sell. But let's call a spade a spade. If you're not growing, right, then you're dying. And in order to grow, you've got to sell. And so how you're handling and how you're keeping track of those sales is critical. And tech is fueling the ability to have those trackable metrics, have that systemized approach at what you're doing, and that all gets driven through a CRM. There's hundreds, probably thousands of CRMs out there. I think we could all, if you've been around this business or you've been in sales of any kind for a while, the top 4 or 5 CRMs, having those connected to your BRMs, tying that into your AI. Are you integrated on the AI? Is things pushing for you so that you're not doing manual? All that stuff is a critical factor. But yeah, I mean, tech is more relevant than it's ever been, and it's not going anywhere, Robert.
And on the technology front, what do you wish you had that you don't have now to operate the business from a technology perspective? If you could wave the magic wand, as we sometimes ask, and have it tomorrow, is there something you think about?
There's a lot of things I think about. I don't know we have enough time on this podcast. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for cleaning companies or service companies, no matter whether it's commercial or residential, is our lead generation. And so, as we move into the new era, and we can look back on everything that's been successful in the past, with tech, everything is evolving at a rapid rate. Just about as quickly as we feel like we've got a handle on it, the target moves, and now we're working again to try and get back ahead of the 8 ball. Lead generation and tech go hand in hand, but there's different variables and methodologies. I think a lot of us different owners have different feelings or ideas of what those methodologies should be. And I don't think any of those make the other one right or wrong. It's about what works for your business. But utilizing and leveraging tech to drive lead generation is the biggest challenge that we face. And so staying ahead of that and figuring out how you can learn that at the right rate and then get that implemented into your strategies is critical in the success of a service business. Again, whether you're in commercial cleaning, HVAC, plumbing, doesn't really matter. It's critical.
Yeah, and we spend a lot of time talking about lead generation and what AI is doing. And at Sound Cove Labs, that's probably, out of everything we work on for clients, B2B, AI, and lead generation is an area we spend a lot of time. So I hear you there. I guess, where are you seeing success in lead generation, and where do you feel that there's some opportunity to be generating more of the right kind of leads?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't think there's a magic answer for that. I think in the year 2025 and beyond, you have to be approaching your potential clientele from every angle, right? You need to be, email is strong. I think that there's a myth that people don't pick up the phone anymore, and in some cases you may be right, but we still got to be trying. So phone calls are still important. Email. The right email strategies are very important. And then the old school canvassing, walking in and having conversations, that's so important. It's critical. What you want to be doing is you want to be having multiple touch points, and you want to have a follow-up for every touch point, every variable, so that you bring all of it together for a wonderful recipe of success. And then it all boils down to the individual that's on your team that's going out and doing this kind of stuff. We can talk tech, we can talk methods, but we also have to talk about the delivery, right? And the delivery in sales, no matter, again, what industry you're in, it all boils down to the individual that you have on your team that's going out and building the relationships in the community and being the conveyor of the goods and services that you sell, and getting that trust and buy-in from those that you're trying to sell it to.
100%. I think you're thinking about it the right way. And it's a challenge, but AI is helping solve it. Another area where we talk AI with brands like yours is on the operational side, and even the amount of phone calls coming in. We probably do not have to explain to you that missing a phone call, they just go to the next person on the list sometimes. What do you do to ensure that if someone's calling on Friday, maybe Saturday, maybe Monday after hours, how you don't miss that?
That's a great question. You got to be committed to it as a company, right? So we've had a lot of success, and we've grown to something that we're really proud of. But on the weekends, checks and balances or fail safe is even still myself as the president of the company. I get all answering service calls that come in over the weekend or after hours. They're going to come across my email. They're also going to go to the director of the departments in which those calls were received for. And we kind of have an all hands on deck approach at making sure that people don't slip through the cracks, right? Especially for our customer service, we make sure, a call comes in at 9:30 on a Monday night for a specific market. I'm going to get it. The director's going to get it from that market. Whoever sees it first is going to go ahead and connect with whoever that was that called in, and then we're going to update the rest of the team to let them know that we've touched base, we're handling it, and or it needs to go to this person to close the loop. And so that's it's a generic approach, right? But it's something that we've always stayed steadfast in, making sure that we don't let things slip through the cracks. We don't necessarily have any AI for that at the moment. I think that we could move into that, but we're a homegrown, organic, family-owned business. No matter how big we get, we're always going to stay true to our roots and the customer service that we believe in. And in many ways, you know, at some point I know we'll have to change that. But right now we have enough A players on the bus, and everybody's committed to the same success and the goals and accomplishments that we set out to achieve as a team and individually as professionals for Stratus Building Solutions. And we know that if we stay true to those roots, and even if we do it a little bit organically, a little bit old school, we're going to make sure that we take care of, you know, all of our existing clientele, any of our new prospective clientele, anybody that calls in, you know, over the weekends or outside of working hours. And we have trust in each other, that no matter who they talk to, they're going to get the same level of customer service and support. And then we just want to be good communicators within our team to let them know that we've closed the loop and so is taken care of.
Well, just talking to you for 20 minutes, you obviously have a great grasp of your business. What metrics are you most focused on, especially as we go into 2026? Is it client retention, service consistency, cost control? What are you watching? And I'm sure you're watching all three, but what is number one on your list when you prioritize?
Yeah. I think if you ask 5 different people, you get 5 different answers. For me, it really all boils down to 2 things. The first thing is client retention. We all know how hard it is in 2025 and beyond to get new clients. In an industry that is saturated by competition and sales tactics and, you know, competitors buying business, whatever it may be, it's so difficult to get new clients. And so the most important thing you can do is keep the ones you have. So for me, number one is client retention. You've got to take care of that existing base. I think it's so easy to get caught up in the rat race of, hey, what's next, what's next, what's next? There will always be what's next, but it doesn't really matter what's next if you can't keep what you've already got. Those who have helped you build into the success that you have today, and those that will help you maintain and build on that success over the next decade. The second thing that's most important is lead generation. And again, Robert, there's no magic answer to that. It's a culmination of 2, 3, 4 different things working to your benefit at all times, and having that right person going out into the market and delivering that and building those relationships, because the rest of it is something that you'll put together as you go on. But you need the leads, and once you get the leads and turn them into clients, you've got to keep those clients. Having a strong operations team is a near third. Right? You have to have a strong team that's going to uphold the brand, that's going to maintain and strengthen those relationships you have, that are going to check on quality control, that are going to be out there, managing those additional specialty service projects. But yeah, retention and lead generation are the 2 key factors for me as we approach the year 2026.
You definitely echo what a lot of founders say, and focusing on the core business is key. Although that being said, as we look forward though, and as you grow, what are you looking for in potentially either new services, new markets, new operational models? What are you thinking about for the future as you grow as a company?
Yeah, so I don't think that we're thinking anything necessarily crazy outside of the box, right? And I know that may not be a great podcast conversation piece, but again, we want to stay true to who we are. As we go throughout business, any business for that matter, should always be committed to growth, right? Committed to staying ahead of the curve, cutting edge, whatever that may be. And I think many could probably, guess, right? I mean, commercial cleaning and facility services, it's not life or death. It's not rocket science. What we need to do is we need to have a strong foundation. Okay. And so what we are committed to in my ownership group and Stratus Building Solutions as a whole is having a really strong foundation, a business model that works, a business model that is for the most part easy to follow, a proven business model that commits and is dedicated to the growth and development of our unit franchisees who are out there in the market doing the cleaning each and every day and helping to uphold the brand that we hold near and dear to our hearts, and that is our core of our existence. We want to make sure that we give them the tools and the training that they need to be wildly successful. We want to make sure that we help cultivate them into incredible commercial cleaning business owners. right? That they are incredible leaders within their individual unit franchises, that they lead their employees well, that they have strong customer service and communication with their clients, right? Because at the end of the day, yes, we hold the master service agreement, but they're the ones out there, and that's their client so long as they do the great job that we've joined up and partnered up in offering to those clients. So we want to make sure that we're always staying ahead of the curve in that training and development with them, right? Our success is dependent on their success. Their success is our only success. So while we always want to be a strong sales organization, training and development is the most critical piece that we can stay ahead of the curve on, and we're always focused on that. You know, we have some proprietary internal things I'm not allowed to share, but at the same time, we're always focused on that, and we're always focused on how we can improve that. We want to continuously stay learning. We want our unit franchisees to continuously stay learning. They may have been with us 8 years. They may be what we consider a veteran. We may really not need to hold their hand at any turn or at any facet of the business. They may know every single thing they need to know, but that doesn't mean they don't still need to continue to learn and improve. And for us, that's what we're always committed to. That's the difference between us and them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Carter, I love your focus and determination, and the growth that you've seen is great to see. Just let our audience, especially those in your service areas, know how they can find you.
Absolutely. So we're on all the major social media platforms. You got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're shooting a lot of fun content on our YouTube channels these days, YouTube Shorts, doing a lot of Instagram and Facebook Reels. You can also find us on www.stratusclean.com. Yeah, we're out there.
You're everywhere.
You know, you can call our local office at 405-655-5586 and speak to any one of our amazing team members all day, every day. We have 90 plus, I think we just hit 92 master franchise locations in North America, spanning all the major metropolises in the U.S. as well as every major territory in Canada. If you need anything commercial cleaning, janitorial, or facility services related, Stratus Building Solutions and Stratus Clean has you covered.
I love it. Well, and you know what? Just because you touched on it, I want you to tell us, how do you make social content fun for commercial cleaning? Tell me a quick story.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if any of you have ever seen, but sometimes my Facebook algorithms, when I'm going through a reel or something, and I'll end up on a like an Oriental rug cleaning process where you watch somebody deep clean an Oriental rug. I don't know about y'all, but that's captivating to me. You know, we're focused on trying to find the little things that we do that captivate audiences and bring fun and excitement to something that seems so mundane and maybe so generic in so many ways. You know, we have a lot of people giving their blood, sweat, and tears to go out and service our clients on a nightly basis. Our operations team is hard at work day in and day out, even on nights and weekends. You know, we got a lot of incredible facilities that we service, and we feel really blessed to be able to service them in the capacities that we do. So when we're out in those facilities, we're meeting with teams, we're meeting with clients, we're doing carpet deep cleaning, VCT floor refinishing, concrete grinding and refinishing, high-rise window cleaning, electrostatic disinfection treatments, tile and grout restorations. There's content everywhere. We just got to be ready to shoot that content. We got to have a good marketing and editing team to be able to cut those videos, get them into shorts, get them onto posts, and get them out there for the public. You know, Robert, that's actually one thing, kind of going back on some of the questions you've asked me. We've really focused on that this year, and we're proud of the team members that we put into those places. We feel like our content improves week over week. And we have no desire to stop growing and making that content as awesome as it can be. We have weekly meetings, and my team, if you ask them enough, you know, hey, it's good, right? But we're going for greatness. And so it's that good to great Jim Collins mindset in everything that we do. And I think if you're having fun putting the content together, then your viewers are going to have fun watching the content that you put out.
Listen, I think that is the absolute right approach, and it's a great place for us to end today. We really appreciate your time, Carter. We wish you the best of luck, and we'd love to have you back again in 2026 to talk about progress.
Thanks, Robert. I'd be honored to be on, and I appreciate you having me on today. Best of
All
luck,
right.
everybody.
Thanks. We'll see you next time on Sound Waves. Thanks for joining today. Bye. And we're clear. All right. Hey, great job. Thank you.
Awesome. Feel like you got some good stuff?
I did. Totally. Yeah. We don't edit too much, to be honest. We pretty much put it out as is, especially when it's smooth like that. So, that was great. So yeah, I have to just put it into post-production with the team here. We add some intros and outros and clean up a few things, and then it's ready to go. I'll send you a link, which you can post whatever you want. And then we're good to go. Yeah. And like I said, I would love to just set up a time with you in like the next week or two. Actually, I can take you honestly on lead gen. Those